Jinny the just Matthew Prior released from the noise of the butcher and baker who, my old friends be thanked, did seldom forsake her, and from the soft duns of my landlord the Quaker, from chiding the footman and watching the lasses, from Nell that burned milk, and Tom that broke glasses, sad mischiefs through which a good housekeeper passes. From some real care but more fancied vexation, from a life party-colored half reason half passion, here lies after all the best wench in the nation. From the Rhine to the Po, from the Thames to the Rhone, Joanna or Janitin, Jeannie or Joan, 'twas all one to her by what name she was known. For the idiom of words very little she heeded, provided the matter she drove at succeeded, she took and gave languages just as she needed. So for kitchen and market, for bargain and sale, she paid English or Dutch or French down on the nail, but in telling a story she sometimes did fail. Then begging excuses she happened to stammer, with respect to her betters but none to her grammar, her blush helped her out and her jargon became her. Her habit and mien she endeavored to frame to the different gout of the place where she came. Her outside still changed, but her inside the same. At The Hague in her slippers and hair as the mode is, at Paris all foul bellowed fine as a goddess, and at censuring London in smock sleeves and bodice. She ordered affairs that few people could tell, and what part about her that mixture did well of Frau, or Mistress, or Mademoiselle. For her surname and race let the heralds e'en answer. Her own proper worth was enough to advance her, and he who liked her, little value her grandsire. But from what house ever her lineage may come, I wish my own Jinny but out of her tomb, though all her relations were there in her room. Of such terrible beauty she never could boast, as with absolute sway o'er all hearts rules the roast, when J balls out to the chair for a toast. But of good household features her person was made, nor by faction cried up nor of censure frayed, and her beauty was rather for use than parade. Her blood so well mixed single quality and flesh so well pasted that, though her youth faded, her comeliness lasted. The blue was wore off, but the plum was well tasted. Less smooth than her skin and less white than her breast was this polished stone beneath which she lies pressed. Stop, reader, and sigh while thou think'st on the rest. With a just trim of virtue her soul was endued, not affectedly pious nor secretly lewd, she cut even between the coquette and the prude. Her will with her duty so equally stood that, seldom opposed, she was commonly good, and did pretty well, doing just what she would. Declining all power she found means to persuade, was then most regarded when most she obeyed, the mistress in truth when she seemed but the maid. Such care of her own proper actions she took that on other folks' lives she had not time to look, so censure and praise were struck out of her book. Her thought still confined to its own little sphere, she minded not who did excel or did err but just as the matter related to her. Then too when her private tribunal was reared, her mercy so mixed with her judgment appeared that her foes were condemned and her friends always cleared. Her religion so well with her learning did suit that in practice sincere, and in controverse mute, she showed she knew better to live than dispute. Some parts of the Bible by heart she recited, and much in historical chapters delighted, but in points about faith she was something short-sighted. So notions and modes she referred to the schools, and in matters of conscience adhered to two rules, to advise with no bigots, and jest with no fools. And scrupling but little, enough she believed, by charity ample small sins she retrieved, and when she had new clothes she always received. Thus still whilst her morning unseen fled away in ordering the linen and making the tea that scarce could have time for the psalms of the day. And while after dinner the night came so soon that half she proposed very seldom was done. With 20 God bless me's, how this day is gone. While she read and accounted and paid and abated, eat and drank, played and worked, laughed and cried, loved and hated, as answered the end of her being created, in the midst of her age came a cruel disease which neither her juleps nor receipts could appease. So down dropped her clay, may her soul be at peace. Retire from this sepulchre all the profane, you that love for debauch, or that marry for gain, retire lest ye trouble the manes of J_____. But thou that knowest love above interest or lust, strew the myrtle and rose on this once beloved dust, and shed one pious tear upon Jinny the just. Tread soft on her grave, and do right to her honor, let neither rude hand nor ill tongue light upon her, do all the small favors that now can be done her. And when what thou licked shall return to her clay, for so I'm persuaded she must do one day whatever fantastic John Askill may say, when as I have done now, thou shalt set up a stone for something however distinguished or known, may some pious friend the misfortune bemoan, and make that concern by reflection his own.